Welcome everybody to another episode of Ron G Coaching. Elevate your life, transforming negativity into success. In this episode, we're going to discuss personal development strategies to help you break free from stagnation and achieve your goals. I'm your host, Ron G, and today I have an empowering episode lined up for you. Hey, before I get started, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the link in the description box below to check out my website. On my website, I've got resources for life coaching, personal training, yoga, martial arts, and more. All right, so let's dive right into it. What is stagnation? Stagnation is described as a condition where something isn't changing, it isn't flowing, there's no movement or development. Stagnation can hinder personal development and growth. Let's delve into avoiding stagnation using practical tips and mindset shifts to keep your journey dynamic and continuously flowing. It's important to remember that growth happens outside of your comfort zone. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're staying comfortable all the time, you're sheltered, you're within yourself, and you're not really reaching for anything. You're just kind of there, and you don't really seek to achieve. You don't really have a goal in mind, and you're not really putting yourself out there to achieve more. So when we get into avoiding stagnation, we've got to get out of that comfort zone. All right, tip number 1, embrace change. Understand that change is inevitable. Embrace it as an opportunity for growth rather than resisting it. This mindset shift allows you to navigate uncertainties with resilience. When I'm looking for embracing change, I'm looking for the opportunities. Something happened, and I can either take the opportunity and try to make something good out of it, or I can resist it, and then generally what I'll see is a repeat of the same pattern. So I want to break free by embracing the change and seeking the opportunity rather than staying in one spot and repeating the same pattern. Sometimes embracing that change isn't going to be easy. It could be hard. It could be scary. What's important is that I am 100% looking to grow from whatever situation is transpiring, whether it's personal, whether it's environmental. I'm taking the situation and I'm looking for ways to get beyond where I was before. No matter how scary, no matter how hard it may seem, once I get through it, I've gained a lot more. Tip number 2, set micro goals. Break down a large goal into smaller chunks, more achievable tasks. This not only makes your journey more manageable, but gives you a sense of accomplishment as you complete each task. As humans, we're not born knowing how to read or write or do math. We step by step learn how to write or read small words and then into bigger words, or write letters, then words together, or do math. First we start off with writing the numbers, reading the numbers, and then adding them together and subtracting, and then multiplication, and then on into more complex mathematical equations. What's important here is that whatever we're doing, we look for small steps that we can take. That can be daunting at first, but you want to take whatever objective or goal that you have and then find a way to break it down into something that's manageable for you. And once it's manageable for you, you'll grow to that level. And once you've hit this level, you can set the next goal, which instead of going from here to here, you're going to go from here to here, and then you'll eventually get here, here, and here. So there's like a common like picture where you see the guy who's got the ladder. There's two ladders and two guys, and one guy's trying to climb the rungs, and there's all these big spaces in between it. And then there's another guy, and he's got the smaller rungs going up the ladder. So he's consistently taking these small steps, these small chunks, and he's reaching for them and going for them. And he's able to achieve it, and eventually he'll get to the top. The other guy, on the other hand, is going to struggle to get to that next rung. Even if it's the first one. He may have less steps to take, but he's still going to struggle to get onto that first rung, which then will cause him to struggle to get onto the next rung because the space isn't getting any smaller. The chunks aren't getting any smaller. The goal at the top, probably not achievable at that level for him. So break them down, figure out what you can do, and do that. One step at a time. Tip number 3, learn from failure. View failures as learning experiences rather than setbacks. Analyze what went wrong. Extract some valuable lessons from that. Use those lessons to refine your approach, your strategy moving forward. It's important to recognize that everyone is flawed. Everyone will have failures going through life. So in order to look at them as learning experiences, the first part is that you have to recognize the flaw, the failure, and maybe it is a setback. As long as you don't stay stagnant with it as a setback and you start looking for opportunities or you start learning from the experience, then you can take that and maybe come at it a different way or try something new, or maybe you need to get a different tool, or that you'll need to do some introspection or shadow work in order to find a way around whatever obstacle you've encountered. I have a video on introspection and shadow work that I will also drop in the description box if you'd like to check that out. Tip number 4, cultivate a growth mindset. This one kind of builds off of the last one. If you've got a failure mindset, then you will continue to repeat the pattern that led to the failure. If you've got a growth mindset and you can cultivate that through experience, you're looking for opportunities to move forward. Strive to adopt a growth mindset that sees challenges as opportunity to grow rather than a permanent setback. This mindset shift encourages continuous development through learning, through observation, through taking the challenges and having a positive outlook on a setback. Cultivating a growth mindset doesn't just happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take practice. So challenge yourself and look for those opportunities and face the setbacks with a positive mindset. When I work with other clients, I talk about how positivity breeds positivity and negativity breeds negativity. Well, if you have a positive look, right, you're looking at something positive in a negative situation. You're cultivating that growth mindset within yourself. So for instance, let's say if I'm going on a hike, but it's raining outside. Well, I'm still out in nature. I'm still connected. I'm able to feel the breeze. I'm able to feel the water. I may be getting rained on, but there might be something in the environment or in a personal situation that I can find that I really will hold on to as a positive part of it. And because I've held on to that or sought out that positivity, I'm now starting to see other things in a more positive mindset as well. Tip number 5, expand your comfort zone. You got to get out of the comfort zone in order to grow. How do we do that? We actively seek out new experiences and challenges that will push us beyond that comfort zone, that'll take us out and let us experience a whole new experience, something we've never done before. Could be, maybe it's an art class, maybe it's rock climbing, maybe it's swimming in the middle of the ocean. Whatever it is, it's out of that comfort zone. And if we use some of the previous steps, we've got a mindset for opportunity. We've got looking at potential smaller steps to achieve a bigger step. We're putting it all together now. Pushing through that comfort zone, getting out there also breaks up the monotony, the routine, and allows you to get out there with your experiences and find something positive in something new. And that is going to stimulate personal growth. Tip number 6, regular self-reflection. With any personal development, it is important to set aside time for self-reflection, for that introspection, for that shadow work. Again, I will put the link down there in the description box for that other video I made, and I hope you'll watch it. While you're self-reflecting, you've got time to assess your progress, identify areas for improvement, and adjust your goals accordingly. By continually looking inward, you're gaining that self-awareness that is crucial for personal development and personal evolution. I actually personally spend a lot of time in self-reflection. I'm trying to look at it from multiple perspectives, multiple angles. I'm doing what's called recall, so I'm replaying a situation over and over in my head, and I'm looking for ways to improve, opportunities that I could have taken, different avenues, different paths. Now, I can't change the past, but what I can do is if I ever encounter that same situation or scenario again, is I can, if the previous way didn't work out positively, I can take a different path. And that's part of the self-reflection, is like identifying the flaws, identifying what needs to improve. And when we're looking at it in terms of stagnation, we're looking at it from a perspective of how am I progressing with achieving my goal? And then if I'm not progressing, why? And let's say I am progressing, but it's not yielding good results. How can I change that to get better results? And then ultimately, let's say if my goal that I'm trying to achieve and nothing I'm doing seems to be getting me closer to that goal, what I can do is I can adjust the goal. I can break it down into smaller chunks. Again, I can make it easier by making the rungs on the ladder just a little bit closer. And maybe that's what I need to do to achieve the big goal, is take smaller steps. But the only way to really see that is to reflect upon how you're going about achieving the goal. Tip number 7, surround yourself with positivity. Choose your environment and relationships wisely. Remember, you get to pick who shares your energy, who gets your light, who gets your time. It's about setting positive boundaries for yourself. I don't want to engage with negativity. I want to engage with positivity. It's not to say that we're not recognizing certain negative aspects of life. It's that we are steering away from them in an effort to drive personal development and growth, rather than repeat negative behavior patterns or something that could get us in trouble. Surround yourself with positive influences and people and environments that encourage your growth and development. That could be hanging out with certain people that encourage you, that see you for you and what you're trying to do for yourself, rather than seeing you with envy or negativity or what they can get from you. We want to try to stay away from people that are going to siphon energy away from us in an effort to deter us from achieving our goal. The idea is to surround ourselves with an environment and build that creativity, that positivity, Positivity just doesn't have to be other people. It could be your environment. So for me, I like to go sit on top of a small mountain and then just like absorb the sun and be in nature and look out and see and spend time. That's where I spend a lot of time self-reflecting. Actually, where I do a lot of my introspection is on top of Mount Erie over in Anacortes. When you surround yourself with positivity and everybody's seeking the same drive towards that positivity, you're going to see building blocks. You're going to be seeing people lifting each other up. You've heard about when other people are negative, people tend to move away from them for a period of time until, their attitude or whatever they're going through changes. I'm not saying avoid them if they need help. What I'm saying is that seek out the environment that best suits you for your personal growth. Tip number 8, stay curious. Cultivate a curious mindset by being open to learning, exploring new topics, and ask a lot of questions. Remember, you're never going to know the answer unless you ask the question. Curiosity fuels personal development by keeping the mind engaged and seeking new developments, new knowledge, and new experiences. I'm always asking questions. I'm trying to figure out, why did this happen? How did that happen? I'm looking at behaviors. I'm looking at patterns. I'm constantly asking, not just outwardly, but inwardly. I'm looking at my experiences and how I can improve those. How can I have a different goal? What's the next strategy? I also want to take time to reach for a new goal or something different. Case in point, me doing these little episodes is something new to me. I've got, a handful of videos on YouTube and I'm sharing them around, but it's something I haven't done before. So I'm exploring something new. I also want to make sure that I'm open to learning about things, right? If my mind is closed and not open, then I won't ever gain anything. There won't be any new knowledge coming in. I'm set in my ways and it's not going to change. But if I open my mind to different aspects of life or different behaviors or different interactions or how somebody else experienced it may be different than me. If I'm open to those things and I'm open to learning, my life experience as a whole is going to be a lot more holistic, a lot more whole, and a lot more genuine within myself. Remember, the journey of personal development isn't a destination. Rather, it's an experience to enjoy. Finding that positivity and enjoying the process of becoming the best version of yourself. Remember to keep evolving, stay curious, and embrace the dynamic nature of your personal growth. Next, we're going to talk about transforming negative energy. Negative energy can be a powerful force for transformation if channeled correctly. It's all about using challenges as stepping stones toward success. Let's discuss how to transform absorbed negativity into a catalyst for positive personal growth and change. This transformation requires intentional mindset shifts and proactive actions. Let's get into it. Step 1, awareness and acceptance. Acknowledge and accept the negative experiences you've absorbed. Try to avoid suppressing them. Instead, confront them head on and try to understand them. Sometimes when we're faced with negativity or a negative experience, we'll suppress it, we'll hide from it, or we'll push it down so far and try to avoid acknowledging it. This can be very unhealthy, but also it doesn't create a step for positive growth. Instead, we want to look at a negative situation or experience and look to understand that situation. We can ask questions about it, introspect, spend a lot of time looking at it from multiple perspectives in order to gain that understanding. Once we've understood a situation, it's a little bit easier to accept it for what it is. If it's a negative situation, or maybe a bad breakup, or a negative interaction with your boss, whatever it is, accept and acknowledge it through understanding. After that, we can face it. Facing this negativity allows us to overcome it, move past it as an obstacle, and grow. Step 2, engage in some mindfulness practices. Engaging in mindfulness practices could be meditation or breathing exercises. These practices can help you stay present in the moment. That'll help you from becoming overwhelmed by a situation or an experience. But also, we want to observe our emotions without judgment. Going through a negative situation and dealing with it in a mindful way allows us to stay non-reactive. And as we are non-reactive, our bodies and our minds function better to overcome an obstacle. I remember a situation where I was under extreme stress, and it was a negative situation, and I needed to stay non-reactive. So I used a combination of breathwork and counting exercises, which is a form of internal meditation. And for me, this allowed me to stay non-reactive in the situation, and the outcome was positive. So I turned a negative situation, and if I had reacted, it could have been a bad outcome. But through the mindfulness of the counting and the breathing, it yielded a positive result. Step number 3, reframing negative thoughts. As humans, we can't avoid negative experiences, nor can we avoid negative thoughts. But what we can do is we can challenge those negative thoughts and reframe them in a more productive way. This can be done by replacing self-defeating beliefs with powerful, positive affirmations. This reframing process can alter your perspective, empower you, and pave the way for positive change. A common thought that may pop up is, I'll never be able to do that, or I can't do that. That is a negative belief system, and staying with that belief system doesn't cultivate growth, doesn't drive a positive behavior change pattern. Instead, we're going to flip that. So instead of I can't do that, or I'll never be able to do that, we're looking at how can I achieve that? Or I'm going to do that. And later on in the video, I'm going to get into goal setting. But this is just a very basic way of setting a new goal versus a new wall. What I mean by that is you're not continuously saying, I'll never be able to do that, I'll never be able to do that, and then you never end up trying to do it. Instead, how can I achieve that? Or is there a way to do that in smaller chunks? Remember, we talked about breaking up a big goal into a smaller goal, because that changes that never into I'm now working towards achieving that goal. And this could be a goal-oriented flip from a negative reframe to a positive, or it could be a belief system. I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough. No one ever loves me. changing that belief system around is going to be a little bit harder, but it can be done. If we say negative things about ourselves, subconsciously our mind believes it. We want to reframe that to something that's good, positive. I am worthy. Doing my best is good enough. I am lovable. If it's an objective or a goal, I can achieve that. I'm working towards it. Being positive also cultivates more positivity, and as you build that, you're going to see around you more things that are positive to grab onto. And as you're grabbing onto those things, you're going to start affirming and reaffirming in a more positive mindset. Step number 4, seek support. Nobody has to go through anything alone. Share your feelings with your friends, family, or even a professional. Talking about negativity can provide perspective, empathy, and valuable insights. All of these things can be a tool for positive, transformational growth. One of the things that I personally am known for is I'm a very open person. So I will find somebody, I will seek that support, and if they're willing, I will rehash a negative situation, the negative experience that I've had over and over again. And that allows me to, one, parse through it myself and learn from it. Or maybe they give me insight back from their perspective, their knowledge, wisdom, or a similar experience. Not only is sharing in the experience and in the negativity a learning experience, it can also be an opportunity for connection or empathy and understanding with somebody else. Step 5, learn and grow. Throughout your whole life, you will be learning. You'll be learning from positive experiences and you'll be learning from negative experiences. It's important that when you've encountered a negative experience that you extract lessons from it and you use those lessons for growth. In this step, you want to identify what you can learn from each experience or interaction and how you can apply those lessons and what you've learned to improve your situation or experience or circumstance. By seeking to use the lessons to improve yourself or your circumstance, you will avoid repeat negative behavior patterns. So a good example of that would be if I've got a square peg and I'm keep trying to put it into a round hole and it doesn't keep working and I just keep doing it. I'm not extracting any lesson from that or learning from it. I'm just repeating a behavior pattern that's not working. Instead, maybe I pick up a round peg to put it in the round hole, or a square peg and a square hole. So now we've taken information and a negative situation and turned it into a positive. Step 6, channel the energy into goals. Channel that negativity into goals. I'm pretty excited about this step because this is probably one of my favorite parts of the transformative experience. So I take the negativity and I redirect it towards constructive goals, towards achieving that goal, and I use it as fuel for motivation. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but I just wanted to throw that in here. I want to use my emotions to fuel my motivations, my efforts, my drive towards achieving the goal or towards taking that next step. My personal experience with this is I've taken a lot of negativity and channeled it into positive growth. How did I do it? Well, first, I survived narcissistic abuse. Then I took all of the projections and negativity that my ex-girlfriend dumped on me, and I used that to fuel me achieving goals, right? At first, I was in a self-defeating behavior where I was like, I'm never going to be good enough. As I started to do the work, as I started to take the negativity and fuel it more towards positive change, what I got was me realizing that I am good enough, that I'm achieving these goals, and I'm leaving behind who I was, and I'm exploring a new me. I'm becoming the best version of myself, taking the negative past and transmuting it into a lot of energy to propel me forward. I was using that energy to stay on the path, to stay committed, to keep taking that next step. I was in it and I was going for it. Some would say that a narcissist tries to siphon your positive energy and leave you with all the negativity through projections, blame shifting, and gaslighting. That's my experience, but I was taking all of that and fueling myself. I was actually siphoning off of the narcissist in order to grow. Tip number 7, another one of my favorites, creative expression. Want to express that energy, that negativity, and put it someplace positive. So movement, for me, yoga, martial arts, art, music, drawing, building, creativity of any kind. By doing this, you're being creative as well as expressive. So your mind is engaged and your emotions are engaged. Transforming negative energy into something creative can be cathartic. It can also lead to a sense of release and renewal. What it's not is we're not looking for a negative outlet. So we're not going to go because we feel bad or we had a negative experience. We're not going to go make somebody else feel bad or make somebody else have a negative experience. We're also not going to be destructive. In some cases, like martial arts, or maybe you are into like throwing axes or shooting at a shooting range. That's not what I mean by being destructive. We want to avoid damaging property, hurting somebody else, or hurting ourselves. For me, my experience with taking negative energy and putting it to something creative was art. So I did a lot of painting. I did a lot of photography. I did a lot of martial arts, movement. I did yoga. Previously, we talked about taking negativity and channeling it towards positive goals. So with that, it's like I started getting all my certifications. I started this YouTube channel. When being creative and finding your outlet, it's important to try a lot of things and find out what works best for you. Step number 8, set boundaries. To set good boundaries, you've got to evaluate relationships and situations that contribute negatively. By establishing the boundaries, you're going to protect yourself from toxic behaviors, people, and situations. By avoiding toxic influences, you allow space for positive energies to work and flourish in your life. Setting boundaries can be hard at first, especially when you're not used to it. In some cases, it'll feel like you're being too assertive for some people. in that case, it's important to remember that what you're doing isn't always straightforward. It's not linear. So when you set a boundary, that's your hard line. And it may push toxic people, or it may prevent you from being in toxic situations. The good news is that you're going to grow from that. You're going to find positivity, and that's going to start growing in your life. The bad news is you may have to let go of the past people or past situations in order to find that growth and positive, flourishing energy. Step 9, gratitude practice. Building a gratitude mindset, cultivating a gratitude mindset can be hard at first, especially if you're not used to it. In order to start working on it, you're going to want to regularly reflect on positive aspects of your life. By shifting focus towards gratitude and away from negativity, you can open up your mind, your body, your soul to a more productive, positive outlook. This optimistic outlook can counteract negativity in your life. Being in a gratitude mindset is thankful. You're grateful for what you do have. You are willing to be grateful in the moment for what your body, your mind, what your experiences are. You're looking for that as a small aspect of positivity in order to propel you forward. And with a gratitude mindset and optimism, we're inviting more of that positive energy into our life. Step 10, forgiveness. Take the time to settle into forgiving yourself and others for past grievances. Holding on to resentment will perpetuate negativity. By learning to forgive, it allows you to release that burden and move forward. Forgiveness is for yourself. You don't necessarily have to let somebody know that you've forgiven them. If you set a clear boundary and you know that engaging with this person or experience is not going to be healthy for you, then it's okay to forgive it and release it and just let it go without saying anything. Remember, forgiveness is a way for us, ourselves, to say, this has happened and I'm done with it. And I'm not going to be angry about it anymore. I'm going to learn from it and move forward. Those are some of the steps that you can use to transform negativity into positive change. You don't have to do them in order, and you can pick and choose which ones work best for you. The key is to not deny or suppress negativity, but rather embrace it, learn from it, and tackle it head on. When you do these steps and embrace the negativity, you will propel yourself forwards to a more fulfilling life. So now we're going to move into goal creation. Goals are the roadmap to success, and effective goal setting is crucial to staying motivated and forward-oriented on your personal development journey. So far, we've talked about avoiding stagnation by having goals and taking negative energy and transforming it into positive energy towards goals. So let's talk about how to create effective goals and some ideas that might help you with your vision. So the first tip I'm going to give is to create SMART goals. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. This framework provides clarity and structure, making your goals more actionable. I'm going to break it down using the SMART acronym. Specific. What is the goal? And in this, you want to be as detailed as possible. What are you trying to accomplish, and what actions are you going to take to get there? Measurable. What kind of data will measure the goal? For runners, that could be a distance. For people that want to lose weight, that could be pounds. For somebody that's looking for personal development, that could be how non-reactive they are in stressful situations. Attainable. Is the goal achievable? Do you have everything you need to achieve the goal? Relevant. Is the goal relevant to you? What is the purpose of having this goal? Does it align with other goals in your personal development? Why is the result of the goal important? Time bound. I want to achieve X in X amount of days, months, years. When you time bind something, it makes it more important, urgent, but it also gives you a deadline for which to achieve something. The next tip number 2, is creating a vision board. This will serve as a visual representation of your goals, and if you place it where you can see it, it can also serve as daily motivation. It's important to include on your vision board images, quotes, and anything else that aligns with your goal. By creating the vision board with symbols that resonate with your aspirations, you are making something tangible in front of you. And that makes it just that much closer to achieving. Again, the vision board serves as a daily reminder and can be used for motivation. Let's say you look at it and you read a quote, or you see a picture, or you're reminded of something that then gives you energy and motivation to push towards your goal. Achieve what you set out to achieve, and does it in a positive way. Tip number 3 is break down goals into smaller tasks. And I know we already covered this. I'm just going to retouch here. And the reason why you'd want to do this is, again, you want to take small steps or use the many small rungs to achieve the goal rather than constantly trying to jump and reach and never actually getting there if you're taking too big of steps. So break them down and it will seem a lot less overwhelming. By having those smaller tasks available to you, the smaller goals, you're going to be a lot less overwhelmed, and that will then further motivate you to keep going, to take the next step. Tip 4, set priorities. You're going to want to prioritize the goals that most align with your vision. Focus on these critical goals to prevent yourself from being spread too thin. Again, concentrating on a few key goals can help motivate and enhance your success. So a good way to look at this, and this is going to be a very simple example, is that let's say if on my personal development journey, I want to learn more about a subject. Doesn't matter what subject. If I prioritize learning about that subject, I can then achieve more with it. However, if I prioritize beating the next level on a video game versus studying that specific subject, I'm less likely to achieve that goal. Tip number 5, create a personal mission statement. When creating this personal mission statement, you're going to want to define your purpose and values. Align your goals with this statement to ensure that they reflect your core beliefs. This can add a sense of purpose to your journey. When I was younger, I didn't know what a mission statement was. You actually see it a lot in the business world or in the military. In fact, the first time I ever heard about a mission statement was in a command in the United States Navy. I then started, after I got out of the Navy, I started seeing it in businesses. So I worked for a couple of businesses and they had their own mission statements. I did read them, and they're a business mission statement and a personal mission statement are going to be slightly different. But the idea is that you are creating something that defines your core values, who you are, and your beliefs. And when you align your goals with this, you are bound to achieve a lot more because you're going to avoid things that don't meet your mission statement. Tip number 6 is accountability partners. You can share your goals with friends, family, a professional, a coach, and by doing that, they can hold you accountable. The idea is that you want to be self-accountable, but by creating this additional layer of accountability, these people become a support system. And if they're doing regular check-ins with you, that can help you maintain focus and motivation. Tip number 7, celebrate milestones. You're going to want to acknowledge and celebrate the small victories along the way. This boosts morale, reinforces positive behavior, and keeps motivation high throughout your personal development journey. So we talked about breaking down big goals into smaller steps. Well, once you've achieved those smaller steps, so each time you achieve the small steps, there's a little victory in that. And that can build your self-esteem, build your motivation and your confidence to take the next step. So you want to make sure that you enjoy that moment, that little small success on your journey towards the big success. Tip number 8, regular review and adjustments. This is like a self-audit. During the process of making and achieving goals, you're going to want to review your progress. You're going to want to assess whether adjustments are needed periodically in order to achieve your goal. These adjustments could be because there's an obstacle or a change in circumstance. Whatever it is, look at it as an opportunity for growth rather than a setback. Flexibility and your ability to adjust based off of a situation ensures your goals stay aligned with your evolving vision. Regular review and adjustments is kind of like introspecting. You're looking inward, you're seeing what needs to be done, what needs to be changed. It could be environmental. What do I need to do to get around this physical barrier, this object? Or it could be interpersonal. What can I do to change what's happening in order to yield a positive outcome? As long as it's aligned with my goal or my personal mission statement, I will be moving in the right direction. But also being flexible allows us to roll with the punches or be like water over rocks. We're flowing around and through, and we're not necessarily hitting a wall. So there's no stop to whatever we're doing in achieving our goals. So we're not stopping. We're observing, reviewing, and figuring out if something needs to be different in order to keep moving forward. Number 9, incorporating habits. If goals are the building blocks of personal development and growth, habits are undoubtedly the mortar. You're going to want to integrate goal-related habits into your daily routine. Consistent small actions build momentum and make progress feel more natural. Incorporating habits can reinforce your commitment to personal development and your goal. Let's say if my overarching goal is to go to the gym 5 times a week. Well, I'm going to start incorporating small things into my daily routine that will make it more natural and more flowing for me to go to the gym 5 days a week. So I'm going to, let's say, get off work. I'm going to come home, immediately change, take my pre-workout supplements, and put my shoes on to go out to the gym. By doing those things in succession and creating a routine, each of those are individually habits, but by creating a routine, I've then now motivated myself in the direction of going to the gym. And the important part is these habits should be positive reinforcement and not negative. So when you look at what you're doing, you want to make sure that these habits positively move you in the direction of personal development and growth, and they're not a negative, something that will build resentment. Step number 10, positive affirmations. You're going to want to use positive affirmations to reinforce your ability to achieve your goals. Replace self-doubt with positive affirmations that align with your vision or your personal mission statement. We've talked about affirmations before, and we're going to want to use them when we're building goals, specifically for the part where we want to build that positive mindset. We want to create that positivity that breeds more positivity. Positive affirmations are positive self-talk. Positive self-talk allows us to reaffirm our ability to ourselves. By doing so, we're fostering a positive mindset. Remember, goal setting is not just about the destination, it's about the journey. Aligning your goals with your vision, breaking them down, and staying committed will propel you forward on your personal development path. The last section I'm going to be talking about today is personal to me. I've decided to include it because while it does kind of align with the other sections, it is its own beast. We're going to be talking about turning experiences of narcissistic, emotional, and psychological abuse into powerful motivation. This change requires resilience and commitment to your personal well-being. I am a survivor and thriver after narcissistic abuse. If you go to my website, which is linked in the description box below, I will have a tab on the page for narcissistic abuse recovery. On there, you can kind of read my story dealing with it. I'm not going to go into it in detail here. And if you read the Meet Your Coach tab, you will also get some insights into what I'm about to talk about next. Let's talk about how to achieve this transformation. The first step is to acknowledge the abuse. Recognize and accept that you've experienced emotional, psychological, or narcissistic abuse. Acknowledgement is the first step towards reclaiming your power and breaking free from the trauma bond. Step 2, educate yourself. One of the most important parts of overcoming narcissistic abuse is going to be education. And I encourage everybody to educate themselves on narcissistic abuse cycles and behavior. By understanding the cycles, behavior, and dynamics involved, you can start to break free and slowly start to regain control over your own life. Here's a couple terms to get you started on your path towards education. Love bomb, devalue, discard, post-separation abuse, Hoover, word salad, projection, blame shifting, gaslighting, Darvo, and triangulation. Step 3, seek professional support. It's going to be important during this recovery that you reach out to a specialist or therapist that specializes in narcissistic abuse. You'll want to find somebody who has experienced narcissistic abuse in order for them to have a better understanding of what you're going through. Professionals can help you with tools to cope, heal, and transform the negative aspects of abuse into positive change. I just want to reiterate the fact that you want to find a specialist that specializes in trauma and abuse, but more specifically, somebody who has experienced it. Trying to explain narcissistic abuse to somebody who hasn't experienced it is very hard. Step 4, set boundaries. I know we talked about it earlier. I'm just going to touch on it again. Establishing clear and firm boundaries can help protect you from further harm. Learning to say no and prioritizing your well-being is a crucial step in transforming the negative energy into positive change. One of the most important boundaries that you will establish with a narcissistic abuser is going to be no contact. That means absolutely no contact. Unless there's children involved and you have to have contact, no contact is the safest way. That is a boundary that you will have to set, and it's going to be hard while facing the trauma bond. But after a while, it will get easier for you to put up that wall and keep it up. While no contact is the main boundary that you'll want to establish during and after narcissistic abuse, there are other ones that will protect you from other aspects of negativity that you may want to explore. What works best for you to protect you? Step 5, focus on self-care. Prioritize self-care activities that nurture your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. This could be exercise, going on hikes, spending time with friends and family, or anything that is focused on helping you heal, moving you forward. In a narcissistic relationship, a lot of times you end up focused so much on what you can do for them and how to fix things and how to change things and how to do better, and you forget to focus on yourself. That is the abuser's goal, but it's not good for you. Good for them, not good for you. Breaking free from that dynamic is going to be important. You're going to want to focus on yourself as much as possible. That's where also setting boundaries can come into play. Putting that no contact up. Being able to say no to other people as well. Remembering that you have to take care of yourself now in order to heal. Step 6, shift your perspective. Reframe your experience as opportunities and lessons for personal growth and development. Consider how overcoming the challenges of narcissistic abuse will help prepare you for the future. It can make you stronger, more resilient, and better equipped to handle other abusers or other experiences with narcissistic people in the future. In my experience, I was taking the negativity, as I talked about earlier, from the narcissist, and I was transmuting it, transforming it into motivation and drive in order to propel myself forward. I absorbed all of the projections and I was introspecting. In fact, I was doing my personal work and their personal work at the same time. And through that, I was able to find the opportunities for change, find the opportunities for growth, and capitalize on it. Step 7, channel emotions creatively. This is the same step from transforming negative energy, where we take our emotions and we apply them to a creative outlet. It could be cooking, writing, art, music, yoga, martial arts, whatever creative outlet that you have, or maybe you want to try something new. Channel your emotions to fuel that interest. In essence, we're transforming pain into creativity and production. For me, personally, I took the negative energy, the projections and all of that, and I used it to seek out education, certifications, and then launch my personal business and this YouTube channel. Not only does it help you build through creativity, it gives you a sense of release and helps you regain your control. Step 8, set empowering goals. So we've already talked about goal setting, and we've talked about using goals from staying stagnant, and we've talked about taking negative energy and applying it towards goals. So this one's not going to be super detailed, but you're going to channel the negative energy into motivation to achieve your goal. Channel the motivation that comes from overcoming narcissistic abuse into empowering goals and personal development and growth. By using this experience to drive you towards your goals, you're going to reclaim your power and achieve the life that you deserve. Step 9, connect with a supportive community. Build a support network of friends, family, or support group personnel that help you, that surround you, that build you up. These are people that you can trust with your experiences, that you can trust to be open with, but they also understand what you're going through. By connecting with others who have been through similar situations, you can provide yourself with validation and strength. I want to point out that on top of a narcissistic abuse recovery program on my website, I also offer a free support group. My support group is called the Empowerment Circle. I will put a link to the Facebook page, which has a QR code, which will get you into the Zoom meetings. It's free. If you're interested, let me know. I can also send it to you privately. The tagline for my support group is educate, empower, and elevate. I chose those words very specifically because I want to educate others, and through that education, they can empower themselves to elevate beyond narcissistic abuse. Step 10, probably one of the most important steps, is forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself. Practice self-forgiveness. Understand that the abuse was not your fault. Release any self-blame or guilt. Forgiving yourself is the biggest step towards moving away from the negativity and building positive change for yourself. You're letting go of that resentment. You're letting go of any negativity associated with how you feel about yourself after abuse. This is so important, guys. I'm stressing this one a lot because through forgiveness of yourself, you can release it. And once you release it, the world opens up. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Ranji Coaching. If you like the content, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the link in the description box below for my website. Remember, your personal journey and growth is unique. It may not be fast, and every challenge is an opportunity for change. Stay tuned for more episodes of Ranji Coaching. I've got more coming in this personal development series, and I will see you in the next one.